Hi there. Real quick before we begin. This is part 2 of my 1,000 rolls in 31 days challenge. If you missed part 1, don't worry about it. You can totally jump in here. And if you'd like to see what it took to get to this point, go check out that episode. In this episode, my momentum really starts to break. I fall way behind in my roll count, and I really begin to question whether this goal was too big, whether this is something I can actually complete. Okay, well, stick around and see where this whole thing ends. Good morning. Let's do a little bit of recap and figure out where I am on this journey. It's day 20, I'm 643 rolls in. I spent the first 2 weeks building up my standard Greenland roll, which is something I had a little bit of experience with on one side. I learned it on the other side and then just worked to refine it. About midway through that process, I realized I was missing a huge piece of technique in that roll, so I took a step back to build that up. And now, here at day 20, my standard roll is feeling pretty good. I'm now working on my storm roll, and I'm working on a foundational part of my storm roll called the continuous storm roll, where the paddle is extended and you capsize. So you're not really starting from a traditional paddling posture. You're building up skills for the roll that I'm going to need once I get to that point. So I'm going to pop the paddle float back on and continue to work on decreasing the air in the paddle float as a little bit of extra support where I can think about what all the bits and pieces are doing, and then decrease the air until I've got nothing, and then hopefully be at a place where I can, again, do that roll, but with very, very, very little pressure on my pry hand. That's the goal today. I've got now 48 minutes to do it before I have to be off the water. Feels like a rush today, friends. Let's see what we can build in and see how much progress we can make on our journey. Well, that was rough. I failed way more than I succeeded today. So most of my rolls today, I'm at 23. Most of those rolls today were recovery rolls with my standard roll. Things started out great with the paddle float, practicing not weighting my hand. That all felt fine. And then I took the paddle float off once it had almost no air in it, and I got maybe the next 8 or 10. And then after that, things just fell off a cliff. Maybe I got tired, maybe I lost track of one of my markers. Today kind of hit a wall. Okay, well, we're going to be back at it tomorrow. Hey friends, moving quite a bit slow today. Just feeling like taking my time and soaking it on it. It's sunny, which is great. Enjoy the sun. Got a lot of work to do with the paddle floats on the Greenland roll today. I gotta figure out what on earth is going on with my continuous storm roll. My camera fogged over yesterday and I didn't really get to see what I was doing wrong when I was failing all those times. So another day, another handful of rolls in the lake. I'm going to take you back to Hadley, Massachusetts, over 20 years ago. There are 2 outdoor stores. One was the EMS that I worked at, and another was a mom and pop outdoor store run by a lovely, eccentric nature lover. I went in there one day, and there was a stick leaning against the wall. I was like, what the hell is that? And the guy was like, oh, that's a Greenland paddle. And he gave me a little bit like the history and the info, and I was really intrigued. And very kindly, he says, look, why don't you borrow it? And if you like it, come back and pay me for it. And if you don't like it, just bring it back. And I immediately fell in love with it. And really, that turned into my main paddle 20 years ago when I was paddling before I moved to Colorado, and this sea kayaking thing was a lot harder. That was my paddle because it's really hard to describe. It feels effortless on the water. It was a one-piece wooden paddle, just like this one. This is not the paddle. There's a whole story of why I don't have that paddle anymore that involves a divorce and changes and different things in life. But that paddle, I don't know where that is. I hope it found a good home. So naturally, getting back into sea kayaking, I immediately also thought about getting back into a Greenland paddle. I'm really grateful now that this roll is building up, that I can start to now feel super confident bringing this paddle into the places that I find myself in as a solo paddler. Little nor'easter rolling up the coast today. The ocean looks like someone did a cannonball in a kiddie pool. Gotta get my roll count up. I am 686 rolls, which is, let's see, 40 behind where I need to be for today. So to be on track for today, I need 73. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna get 73 rolls today. The new roll has really decreased my roll count. I wasn't able to get out on the water yesterday, so that's a whole nother 33 rolls I didn't get in. So I'm behind. Broke the tip off my Greenland paddle. It got caught in my skeg slider box. And I knew I hit my boat when I was rolling. And a couple rolls later, I looked at the tip and felt like, oh, that feels weird. And the tip was missing. I'll try to wood glue the Jesus out of it, and hopefully that'll work. But that is a bummer. Feeling a little defeated, friends. The storm roll is kicking my butt. I thought I'd be further along with that roll. And I think I made a new goal in my head that I didn't realize, that I would be finishing that roll on both sides by the end of this experience, which I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I also don't even know if I'm gonna hit the 1,000 rolls without really just like pushing it. It is absolutely pissing it down today. The bright side is I get to use Wendy's Greenland paddle because I snapped the tip off of my wood paddle yesterday and I wood glued it to within an inch of its life, and I'm just giving it a nice long time to cure and dry. I hope it'll hold. We'll find out. Coming out here with a better mood today. Yesterday I was down. I was very low yesterday. And I'm just gonna have fun, friends. We're gonna see where this whole 31-day journey goes. I'm gonna let go of all that bull crap of feeling like I had to be at a certain point. I intentionally set this whole experience up not to have one of those moments, but it kind of snuck in on me rather quietly, of setting a new goal of getting my standard roll on both sides. But I'll let that go. Gonna come out here and have fun today. I'm about to get soaking wet anyway, so the rain doesn't matter at all. I just wish it was warmer. I am gonna be so grateful for a warm paddling day. Okay, let's go get upside down. What a difference between the lows of yesterday and feeling great today. Just changing my mindset and coming out here and having fun and letting go of what I thought should happen. It's the most storm rolls I've gotten in a day. Maybe the paddle had a bit to do with it, a little bit more buoyancy, but look, like, I'll take it at this point. I'll take any support I can get to add these rolls and build this skill. It gave me a little bit more time to focus on my head. I feel like my head staying really low. It gave me time to focus on my pry hand instead of my sweep hand. Woohoo! It's feeling great. All right, I gotta get off the water and get home. I was delighted to find the degree of ease that I've been looking for in my roll. And I think early on I was labeling it as slowing down. I think a lot of clips of me saying, I need to slow down, I need to slow down, I need to slow down. And what I think I actually meant to say is, I need to find ease. I've noticed that when my roll feels like I'm efforting, when it feels like there's a degree of force or effort, I don't think I'm doing it right. And this transitions directly from my Euroblade roll as well, this awareness. But I think more so in Greenland, because I think Greenland rolling is more focused on body technique. I think you can get away with more in Euroblade rolling. I'm noticing that effort, and when I feel a moment of effort, I pause. That's felt harder than it should be. What's going on? Is my head doing something? Are my hands doing something? What's happening that's requiring more exertion than I need to? And it's really fun to see that exertion quiet down, that the standard Greenland roll is flowing, and I feel like I'm at one with the boat and the water and the blade, and all of a sudden I'm upside down and then I'm upright, and it feels like it's as easy as taking a step down a hallway. Now, my storm roll does not feel like that. My storm roll right now feels like a ton of effort. I feel like I'm muscling through that. There's a whole lot going on there that feels full of effort. But that effortlessness sunk into my standard roll this week, and it's been really fun. I actually, get into these playful moments of rolling and just having fun, and can kind of lose myself in roll after roll after roll because it's flowing so beautifully. It's a big day with 50 rolls, and if that's not my highest roll count, it's among my highest roll counts of this entire journey so far. Today allowed me to focus on my hips, and I'm able to notice those markers in my hips and really starting to feel like I'm getting some like hip flick or knee drive or leg drive as I'm coming around, which if it's been happening before, I haven't been that aware of it. Today was really the first day that I started to cue into it. Gotta keep at it a little bit every day. I brought my wooden paddle after it had been gluing up for a few days, and as soon as it hit the water, the glue line became tacky again. Oh well, we gotta be back with Wendy's beautiful Greenland paddle again. Shucks. What goes up must always come back down. I'll be safe in your arms. Like the light. It is the first warm sunny day in what feels like a month. There's been a few over this journey, but there haven't been many. That's added a degree of complexity to this whole experience, the weather. That was a close call. I've hit that rock before. Forgot where it was. I taught myself how to roll off of Justine Krgevin's This Is the Roll video series featuring Turner Wilson and Sherry Perry. And I'd watch the videos through most of the winter, late winter, and then about this time of year, actually, I started coming out to this lake and started building up my roll, starting with I think it's called the Avocet, the bladder. I use my paddle float and just use that to get used to the mechanics and bringing my body and the boat back to where it needed to be. And then I put that paddle float on the end of my Euroblade and started using that to roll. Since I didn't have a friend and I didn't want to swim a lot, I was doing it all by myself. I just relied on the buoyancy of that paddle float with a sweep to get back upright. And I just kept decreasing the air in that until it was just a wet bag of a paddle float with no air in it at the end of a Euroblade. And then I took the paddle float off, obviously, and then just continued that Euroblade roll. And then I switched sides with the Euroblade, and then I just built up that Euroblade roll until it was a little bit more bomb-proof, until it was something I could really rely on. And I never came back to this thing. I never came back to my Greenland paddle. I thought about it. I had, made plans, and every once in a while I'd take this out while I was doing a rolling session or a practice session and do a couple rolls with it, and they felt weird and awkward and never that successful. But I never really invested the time to come back to it. But it was all built off of the lessons and the information in that video series from Justine. I am not on the lake today. I'm on the ocean, and you may hear a few lobster boats puttering around. I am on day 2 of an overnight camping trip, so if you want to come to Buckle Island in Stonington, Maine with me, go check out that episode. I knew yesterday was going to be a 0 day for rolls. I knew that I was probably not going to get any in, just with the amount of stuff I needed to do. Today, I have a loose plan of trying to squeak out 10 or 15. I don't know. I'm not really sure. We're going to kind of see how the day unfolds and see how much time I have, but I thought I'd try to get a few in. All to say, it puts me quite a bit behind. I forget the number, but I'll leave it on the screen how many behind I am from my target as of today. I am then going to, I think, have to do what I didn't want to do and cram a bunch of rolls in the last couple of days. I only have a couple of days left of this challenge, and I think it's going to happen that I've got to squeeze a bunch in. I've been thinking, would I do this again? And I don't know. I think it's too soon for me to answer that question. I need a little bit of space. I would definitely change a few things. I wouldn't record it. It was a lot to try to record this episode. I might document pieces of it. I might record pieces of it for me to watch my technique and my form. But the creating the episode over 31 days with getting out and rolling has really evaporated my May. The other thing I know I would do is I would do it in a warmer month. I chose May because I wanted to come on trips like this and throughout the rest of the season with my Greenland paddle and feel really confident with that paddle. And luckily now I do after the end of that. So I guess that's a reflection on goal met. It happens to be my standard roll, not my storm roll, but I still have a Greenland roll that I feel really comfortable with. I also would add in rest, recovery, and reflection days. I didn't give myself enough time to think about what's going on. I was really a scramble just to get on the water, get home, get to work, eat dinner, get the gear organized for the next day, sleep, get on the water. There was just go, go, go. There wasn't a lot of space for me to really reflect, to really look at what's going on in the videos that I'm capturing of my roll. Am I seeing the things that I think I should be seeing? I didn't have a lot of that space. And I also didn't have a lot of body recovery days. My body just felt tired. It feels tired from doing this day in and day out. And I think that adding rest and recovery days would have been really wise in a plan going forward. I also think that I could have used some accountability partners. Doing this alone took a lot of motivation. And I would, I think, do this again if maybe you all did it with me. If there are others who committed to rolling 1,000 times in a month, whatever that meant for you, your butterfly roll, Euro roll, your C2C roll, whatever your roll is, if you all committed to doing that with me and there was some accountability around it, I would strongly consider doing that again. Yeah, you interested in doing that? You can let me know in the comments and I can figure out how to help organize that. 10 ocean rolls on day 28. It's cold. It's much colder. Woo! Not entirely sure what I was thinking. I very successfully glued my wooden paddle back together using wood glue. It's a wooden paddle. The word wood is in the name of the glue. Should all work out, right? Except wood glue is not waterproof. So now I've got a very well glued together wooden paddle that I need to figure out how to disassemble and glue together with epoxy. I'm going to use it for a little bit today to see if I can soften up the glue and pop off the tip. Lessons learned. Things you don't think about. Tried the storm roll on the other side, was totally disoriented because everything is now the opposite. Lost the paddle, tried to roll up, the paddle fly. You saw it all. You saw it all. Whew. Probably 900 and something rolls in, new roll, and back to the basics. Whew. All right, let's keep trying that new side. Woohoo! That, my friends, was my first storm roll from a setup position. Woo! What a day! Oh, hey there. Thanks for making it to day 31. Last day. I have 70 rolls to do today. It'll be my single biggest day. Just feels like it'll be a lot. It's within reach, but it feels like it'll be a lot. I'm going to make as many of those rolls, continuous storm rolls or hopefully storm rolls, as possible. 67. And I'm getting tired. They're getting sloppy. 3 more. 3 more rolls. I'm gonna try to do these storm rolls. We'll see if I have the energy. That's 1,000 rolls in 31 days. Woo! The last few were ugly, but they were there. Oh. Oh. Holy smokes. That was a journey, friends. That was a journey. All right, I'm pooped. I'm gonna go get Try. Woo. Well, that's what 1,000 rolls looks like in 31 days. And I am tired. My body is tired. I am mentally tired. I'm gonna look forward to not getting up and doing this tomorrow morning, or rushing out of the house to do this at some point tomorrow. But I'm also really proud of myself. I'm proud of the commitment. I'm proud of the growth and the development in my role. I'm proud of showing up for myself as many times as I did so I could get to 1,000 rolls in 31 days. Overall, the goal was never perfect rolling. The goal was to show up for myself and see what happened to my roll and see what happened to me after these 31 days. And I've learned a ton, not only about my role, but about myself, about commitment, about confidence, about showing up and making that determination to do a thing. I learned what it looks like when things get hard and I don't want to come out here. I learned what my hips need to do on the water to a better degree than I did before. There's a lot that's coming together in this experience that I'm really excited about. What's next? Well, I'm going to take a few days off and not come back to the lake. I want to keep building up my storm roll. I want that to become the roll that I'm really confident and comfortable with in my Greenland paddling. I'm really excited and have already felt really confident taking my Greenland paddle out on a solo overnight camping trip, which was honestly like the paddling goal of this experience. That I could be out on the ocean alone, far away from help, and know I'm gonna be upright with my Greenland paddle, and I feel that way now. It means the world to me that you're here and on this adventure with me. I thought about you every day for the past 31 days, and we'll think about you well into the future as I'm editing this episode and doing other episodes. Your support, your kindness, your compassion it means so much to me when I release an episode and I hear back from people who are enjoying it. So thank you so much. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this episode. Is there something that I bumped up against in the past 31 days that you've bumped up against? Is there a commitment that you're going to make for yourself? Put it in the comments. I would love to know and have that conversation there. Well, all right, friends. As always, I hope you enjoy your adventures, whatever they are. And until next time, safe paddling. Bye for now. Ow, that one got me in the throat.